correct me if I'm wrong, I think a previous questioner asked you if you had funded the cost of grandfathering. And I believe you said, no, you weren't mandated to do that. So that actual cost, I understand there's a pension crisis. I understand there's a pension crisis across the world. But the specific reason we're here today is we want to know how much it would cost to grandfather us. Now, is that what your answer was, that that was not one of the scenarios that you tested?
A guarantee.
No, I understand what the guarantees. None of those scenarios are guaranteed. We understand that.
If you assess the cost of guaranteeing benefits for retirees and the past service of actives, and past service for actives, because that's the number I gave in my presentation, okay? You have to change the way you invest the money because you want it to be certain. You invest it in low risk, fixed income at low interest rates. If that were done today, or on April 1st, 2012, the PSSA would have needed $5.5 billion more than is there now. Okay? Other than that, the guarantee is dependent on some future government's willingness and ability to pay.
So, is the short answer then that it would cost an extra $5 billion in the pension fund in order to grandfather retirees?
Well, grandfather all past service. Members who are here and members who have worked.
That's not what we're asking.
Yeah.
We're asking for retirees who have already signed a contract. Have you funded the cost of going forward grandfathering us?
The retirees make up about half of the plan. That's your answer.
I'm trying to make the question very simple. Did you, we talked about models and we talked about simulations.
Yeah.
Did you do a 20-year simulation on the cost of grandfathering retirees, not past service?
We estimated, and we do at every valuation, the cost of a guarantee using low-risk investments. Did we do a simulation of a guarantee for 20 years? The answer is no.
Okay. I think we deserve that.
But if we did, and you wanted a guarantee, the answer would be we have to put the money in bonds.
No, we're not asking.
The extra money would be 2.5. Other than that, when you get into those scenarios, if you invest in equities, those bad scenarios have very poor investment returns and require a lot more money later on.
Strategies. But I'm simply asking.
The bottom line is the cost of a guarantee is very high.
I'm not asking about the cost. I'm just saying we were told that the shared risk model was tested in 1,000 different scenarios. And all I'm saying is, if one of those scenarios was not a detailed simulation of the cost of funding grandfathered retirees, we at least, I think, deserve to see what that would look like so we can look at it and prepare ourselves and assess. The Pension Task Force has spent 3 years now developing their case. And we're being approached now being asked to react based on one information session. So I just would like to have the details. We do have the capacity, and if we don't, we've got lots of relatives that are actuaries too, and we can have them look at it.
No, I understand
That's
your question now. The answer to your question is we did not run a simulation.
Okay. Can I ask Minister Hayes a question? Mr. Hayes, can that be done? Will it be done? And will we have access to the results of that simulation so we can evaluate what our situation would be if we were grandfathered versus what the province situation would be if we're not?
So yes, I think we've said that we needed to put a smaller group together that get all the questions answered. And if that's one of the questions, then we should be able to do the calculations. And no matter what actuary does it, we should be able to come up with the answer.
But I don't want that question coming from me. I would like to know, is that something that everybody in the room would like to say? great exception when I read articles in the paper about us having to carry a fair share. We're greedy. We don't care about the younger generations. I have 2 children. One's a teacher, and she certainly understands the situation we're in. She understands, too, that she has 35 years left in her career to make decisions and alter financial decisions that she's making career decisions that I can't do. I can't come back to life. I have a son in Calgary. He'd love to come home, practice medicine here, but I don't think that might happen if we keep going the way we're going. I care deeply about the younger generation. They are just fortunate enough right now to have their careers before them, and they can make adjustments. They can negotiate better contracts. They can make investment decisions. They can make spending decisions. They can apply for different jobs if they're not happy with the ones that they have. We can't do that. I love my job, and I guess I'm quite concerned, and I guess this leads into my next questions, is that I would love, I didn't leave my job because I hated it. My career spanned 39 years as a civil servant, teacher, and principal. I loved it. But after 39 years, I thought, this is an opportunity, and we looked at, in our family, very, very detailed analysis of what it would take to live in retirement. And we made the decision based on the contract that we signed. And now I'm finding that that's threatened. So I guess if we make a decision based on trusting the contract that we signed, and now we're finding that that's threatened, and you're coming at us, asking us to accept a new plan with new trustees that have strict rules that can't be broken. It just doesn't inspire confidence in accepting this new model. So, my question becomes, how can we place any more trust in parameters of this new plan to be ironclad, engraved in stone, with a set of trustees whom we don't know yet, when we couldn't trust the government to honor the contract that we have already signed? That's a hard question. I don't mean that rhetorically. I'm simply asking. And the corollary to that question is, if, as you're saying, this new plan is going to put us on such sound footing and will solve the problems and is such a great deal for everybody, I fail to understand why the government wants to remove itself as the guarantor of the plan. It would go a long way if the government were to say, the previous speaker indicated that, and it wasn't just about protecting the base. Cost of living is very much a concern that we have. But maybe you can answer that question. It would inspire a lot more confidence if the government would say, we're going to remain as guarantor, because we do want to protect the pension, and we have a stake in that.
So firstly, in relation to what has changed, or if we had a contract that was 30 years ago and this was the program, then why isn't it still a program? So I think going through the analysis and going through what many people, and we talked about people that, who saved for retirement, didn't have a plan, and then when 2008 hit, their whole retirement scenario went out the window. So what we're saying is we see this on the horizon. We see a problem that is coming our way. And it would be very easy for us to absolutely ignore it. Just let someone else deal with it. But what we're saying, this is a problem for us. Now, as a guarantor, if you say, why wouldn't the government continue to guarantee a pension plan? Well, in any pension plan.
Why wouldn't we remain as trustees if not guarantor?
Why wouldn't we remain as trustees? Well, under a new plan, and as I understand, And under other plans, pension plans that exist, you have a contribution model that is put forward. And in doing that, then that plan is managed by trustees that could be made up, I suppose, of both the government and of the pensioners group. But the point is that you have a plan that's self-sustained and supports itself. If the government decides to be a guarantor, which is not normally the role of let's say, an employer.
It was when we signed the contracts.
Yeah, it was, and it worked in those days.
I've only been retired for 2 years. So.
No, but the plan's been in existence for a long time, and you saw the contribution. So what we're trying to do is get a model now that says, because if the province guarantees it as such, then it stays on the provincial books. Then it affects our ability, our funding, and it affects our whole financial situation. That's why we're looking at a model that is more like other plans that exist, and we're trying to find a solution.
At the end of the day, if members of the PSSA and the Teachers Pension Act, which are vulnerable people left haven't consulted with you yet, if at the end of the day you share information you have today and more details on request, we say, no, we don't want to move forward with this. Will the government be moving forward unilaterally to change those acts? Or is it very much a give and take, mutual decision-making process? So, are you prepared to move unilaterally if we say no?
Well, I guess what I would say to that is that what we're doing right today and what we're prepared as a government is to work with the retirees and every group to find a solution to what we know is coming. And I don't think it is fair for either one of us to take an absolute position. Like you say no, and we say yes. We need to find a solution.
What I'm asking you, from your, we may or may not be prepared to, I can't speak on behalf of everybody here. It's very much a scenario that could unfold where we don't change our situation, even after you've shared. Of course, we were expecting to get more information. We got it today. Thank you for that. We're expecting even more as we asked for it. But I guess going into this, if we're going to invest a lot of time and energy into the process, we have to know where we stand as stakeholders and where we stand as decision makers going forward. Because if at the end of the day, you're going to move forward unilaterally, why are we here? Really?
We're here to develop a solution together.
Are we going to?
And I don't think we should, either one of us, define absolutes and either end. And I won't do that. We're here to find a solution and work it out together. And that's why we're going through this.
Well, I think the general feeling here is, until we hear otherwise, that yeah, that is an sword hanging over our head, and that we are prepared to move unilaterally here. And I think I'm pretty confident in saying that that's the general feeling, and it's kind of souring process. I guess that's all I have to say. Thank you.
And I had a long career in government at the most senior level, and we learned how to introduce public policy change. And there's a way to do it, and there's a way not to do it. In your platform in the last election campaign, I thought you knew how to do it. You said you knew how to do it. But this isn't how you do it. You don't introduce the legislation and then have the Premier announce it at a conference in February, and then come out and consult with us. That's a bit insulting, and it's not the way the business is run, really, of government. Your former employer wouldn't even do that. All I would say in conclusion is, please put a spoke in the wheel, step back, and go through some proper consultation. I know this is a tough issue, and at the end of the day, people don't want me to say this, but at the end of the day, maybe we have to accept the part of it. But we're not going to accept it until we've been properly consulted. Thank you.